Everybody, and welcome to the Prairie Real Estate Show. I'm your host, Bill Baker, and glad to see you. Welcome to the days before the greatest day of the year, St. Patrick's Day, where everybody's Irish.
Is that the greatest day of the
Well,
year?
because we're lucky charms, you know? That's the whole thing.
Lucky
We're just all lucky charms. We got to figure out the numbers here. Okay. There we go. We got that up. Yeah, it's going to be a great week. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun. Corned beef and cabbage.
At your house, right?
That's in my house.
Terry's
Don't be
cooking.
there the next day, for God's sakes. There'll be wind everywhere.
Oh, okay.
Well, a little bit of wind.
That's
my
too
Lord. Do you have a leprechaun outfit too?
I've
You
got one.
should. You should, right? With the curly shoes.
Yes.
All of it. Yes.
I know, it's a fun thing. It's okay. It's been a great week. My son celebrated his first wedding anniversary on Tuesday.
Wow.
And so a huge shout out goes out to Alex and to Jessica because I'm very proud of them and I love her to death. So it makes it really easy for me, I reckon. But stuff like that. But and we've been having a great week, so it's a good thing. Today has been a show that I have been waiting to do because two of my favorite ladies are sitting in the studio right now, and the first one, who's been with me forever and a day.
It's a long time.
Is
Very long time.
as a friend, as a lender, as a professional, as the sidekick.
Oh.
And she was my #1 guest, the very first guest.
Yes, that's how all this
Sidekick.
happened.
Yeah, sidekick.
Yeah.
Sidekick. I don't know about that.
Oh, see? She's
Wing
got
man.
my back.
Well,
Wing woman?
You got to talk into the microphone.
equals.
Wing person?
You can move this thing too. It's funny.
you
It goes
can.
up, it goes down. You
This
can-
contraption. I don't think people can fully understand like what I am looking at here. It's
There's lots of buttons and stuff. And
seems like
things
robots
hanging in your
here.
face.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know.
Very robotic with all these microphones all over the place.
So that first lady I'm talking about is Laura Stanfield from Wintrust Mortgage, of which this show would not be what it is if we didn't have that insight. I'm trying to dig out words here. You can tell me.
I know, right? You're not doing your usual, which
I
I'm like,
was trying to be different
stop.
today.
Okay.
So there's a lot of things that are different right now, right?
I know, he's fuzzy. He's never fuzzy.
I have never in my life tried to grow a beard.
Fuzzy.
Because it takes a while. Maybe you
Yes,
lose patience.
I identify as a fuzzy now.
Okay, stop. Oh, good
Just
Lord.
saying.
Okay, let's not do that.
Let's not get on to that.
No, listen.
No.
So what's going on in the mortgage world? What's happening out there?
Well, rates are a little better.
What's that mean?
Not a whole lot better, but they're better. They should be coming down. I mean, all expectations are that they're going to be coming down. It's all about inflation, has been we've been talking about this for months. So inflation worries mean higher rates. If we're getting news out that shows that inflation numbers are coming down, then interest rates are going to come down. So that's what we're seeing a little bit of right now. But
Yeah,
when it's appropriate, I was going to share some.
go for it.
Well, this is really more, I'll wait because it's really more about like appreciation and housing values and
Okay.
prices.
You want to
and
do
things
that?
like
Well, I think the banking scenario right now, the two failures have
Yeah.
really affected the stock market and
They
confidence. And in the past 100 years ago, it seems like, well, it was over 100 years, almost 100 years ago, 90-some years ago, there were runs on banks. I mean, if this happened, people would go and pull their money out. Honest to goodness, I actually thought of going and pulling maybe half of what I had out of saving, or out of checking,
See,
and keep
that's
it in
why
home.
I wasn't going to say anything about
Put it in a
that.
mason jar,
It's a different thing, though.
Bury it in the
Silicon Valley
backyard.
Bank and the other bank are very different things.
Yeah, it is.
Didn't
Wait.
need to cause a panic.
If you bury it in your backyard, does that increase the value of your house then?
Yes, it
Good
does.
question. That's a really good
You are
question.
You should be a realtor.
Oh yeah. I'll just add that to my resume.
Right. She's got lots of time on her hands.
I
Sure,
know,
she'll
right?
do that.
So you okay with where we are with interest rates right now?
I'm not okay. No, I'd like for them to be 5.
Well, people now want ice water too, but come on.
I know.
These interest
It's
rates, they're
not
still
bad.
low. I mean, we talk about this
They
every
are.
week. My first one was 14.5%.
I know.
My mom and dad had one at 18% in '79.
this is not as high as we've seen by a long shot, that's for sure, but it's all perception, and coming out of
It
2 or
is.
3% only 2 years ago,
It
if
is.
even, is a hard pill to swallow. It's tripled. Their rates have doubled and tripled. And it's just hard. It happened really quickly. But yeah, if you look at it historically speaking,
Yeah.
this is still low.
Right.
Granted, when rates were in the double digits, though, housing prices were a whole lot lower too, so it didn't make as much of a difference in the monthly payment. But
But,
it doesn't make it impossible.
but,
However,
however.
yeah.
But you know, as you and I always say, is don't focus on the interest rate or the mortgage rate that you're paying. Think about the appreciation that you're going to get in the asset that you've just purchased. And let's use an example. We like to do that. And let's say that you buy a $300,000 home. We could even make it a $200,000 home.
Where
Well,
can
good
you
luck
find
with
one
that.
of those?
Yes, exactly. Where is that?
Where?
When you shop with the Baker Realty Group, we bring you home. I can find those
Oh,
houses.
goodness.
I
For
did. I got Danielle.
200,000? Well, Dane County versus...
You didn't say county. You throwing a curve in there, putting that
No,
variable big.
We're being realistic, right?
Well,
Like, we have
no.
to say that.
She got a nice house.
She did get a nice house.
Right.
Totally
For under
redone.
$250.
Yeah.
You mean there's other places to live besides Sun Prairie?
Well, sometimes you have to slump. Yes. I mean,
Beaver Dam, perhaps.
well, you know, sometimes people go to our bedroom community called Madison, and they live there. But you know, I mean,
I
the
think
world
you're
revolves.
confused. That's in reverse.
Well, as you notice our logo, our current logo for Sun Prairie, the sun always shines above Sun Prairie, right?
No,
It does.
it doesn't.
It does. The sun's always shining.
It's shining today.
See?
It's shining today,
There you
yes.
have it.
And honestly, the name is one reason why I chose to live here, because like it
Aw.
sounds like a beautiful place to be, right?
People tell
Wherever
me
the
that
sun
all the
is,
time.
I want to be.
So let's talk about this example. So if you buy a $200,000 home, and even if you put and we'll use $10,000 as a down payment, just
For
because,
easy math.
for easy math, because Bill likes easy math.
So do I.
So 10% doesn't matter on the sale process, but a year later, if you owned that house in 2022, you saw a 12% increase. But let's just use 10%. 300,000, 10% is a $30,000 gain. You just added $30,000 to your portfolio, to your wealth, to your equity. Now, if we took 10,000, put it in the stock market, and got a 10% return, that would be good. That'd be really good. A lot of people want a 10% return in the stock market. It's not true. It doesn't happen that often. But let's say 10%. 10% on 10,000 is how much? I ask you every week. $1,000.
$1,000.
The banker
I
looks
can
at me
do
and goes,
easy math.
"Is that $1,000?"
I love it. It just reminded me, if I can just, for 1 second, my son, when he was younger, we were doing math, and he had difficulty with the times zero. So I'd be like, what's 1 times 0? And he'd be like, 1. I'm like, no, 0. And then I do it, how about 100 times 0? He'd be like, 100. No, it's 0. And so then it's just a thing.
It is
where
kind of a
it's
weird
always
thing,
times
though.
0, it's 0. So now he messes with me sometimes.
Oh,
and-
my Alex
As
had
he
that.
should.
Because I'd say, something from nothing is how much? And he'd go, I don't know. I said, something from nothing is how much? Well, what is it you have? I said, nothing.
Right.
Well, I guess it's nothing. I don't know. This is the
Is it
conversation.
something or is it
Yes,
nothing?
it's hard to grasp.
I know,
But
right?
anyway, I
See, it's a story problem.
Yes.
And I never like story problems.
Sure.
Like, just don't. I don't want to think that hard. Not
Sure.
even in school, no.
So now there's some people out there right now, they're listening to us, and they're saying, okay, so if there was a 10%, a 12% increase like we had in Sun Prairie last year, but there's a 6% mortgage rate, can I subtract that from the number? And I said, okay, let's do that. 6% of 300,000 in over 12 months is how much?
Yeah, I'm not doing that.
$18,000.
Oh yeah, I was doing opposite.
That's $18,000 than you had to begin with. If you want, and the 10% or 10,000 is a part of your equity, so you've not lost that. It's still there. It's
Yeah.
still there.
As long as you can sell it for that amount, then.
Well, yeah. Well, when you sell it
Right.
at that amount. I mean, can you imagine people that bought a house 10 years ago? Oh my God! And
That
didn't
would be
use it
neat.
as an ATM.
didn't use it as an ATM.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yes, actually, we're paying their mortgages down.
I know.
Ah, that's an idea.
So we're really kind of talking about affordability, and we're going to talk. We're going to put a spin on that because that's a phrase, that's a term that's used in housing called affordable housing, workforce housing. Laura and I believe it's the wrong name. It's the wrong. I said this in the housing committee last week. We shouldn't use affordable housing as a descriptive, but that's what's used because it determines all houses are or are not affordable.
So what would be your term then instead?
Good
Gewitzes.
question.
Gewitzes. Or doohickey houses. Yeah, doohickey houses.
No.
Tchotchkes?
Oh, tchotchkes! That's my word too! I love tchotchkes!
How do you spell tchotchke?
You know, you have the whatchamacallits that are connected to the doohickeys that make the thingamabobs work.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta remember that.
Who's you what's it?
I know, right?
Yeah.
Hey, so this other voice you're hearing, we only have an hour, ladies. Come on, you're killing me over here.
You're
We're gonna
the
have a
one with
little
all-
fun.
Yeah, you're
Come
the
on.
one with all these like math problems going on
I
here.
know.
You
Stop
know?
with those. No more.
Gosh.
I don't want to think when I'm here. Just a little bit.
Mr. Heinlein would be very proud of me.
You're a math teacher.
Yes. Geometry.
Oh.
Ugh.
Wow.
See, I've
Physics.
tuned you out already. No.
Physics.
Uh-uh.
This other lady you hear is a dear friend who we really enjoy being with and visiting with all the time. She you've seen her face, and if you're around Sun Prairie at all, you know who she is because I'm going to tell you, I thought I went to a lot of stuff. She just smokes me. I mean, she's somebody or something, you know? She's out
Which is why
there.
she doesn't have time to be a realtor. She's too busy.
Well, I know, and I think she's probably shaken more hands than I have. Probably knocked on more doors than I have.
Kissing
Definitely.
babies?
Definitely knocked on a lot of doors. No, it's been COVID. I haven't been able to kiss any
Don't
babies.
kiss my baby. Go away. Yeah.
Melissa Ratcliff is in the studio. She's our state representative from the 46th district, our district, and that's all that matters. Doesn't matter that she's from Cottage Grove or anything. No, actually,
Cottage Grove is part of the district, Bill,
I know.
despite what you keep wanting to know.
that's
or
another
say.
bedroom community of Sun Prairie, but that's okay. She's a really cool lady. I really enjoy her. I will tell you that, let me read this. Representative Ratcliff is an American paralegal. I love that.
Oh, no.
And Democratic politician
What are you reading off of, Bill?
from Cottage Grove, Wisconsin. I don't know. I think
Where
it's
did you
Wikipedia,
find this?
probably.
Oh,
no.
hey, you have a Wikipedia
I
thing?
know, it's
She does.
crazy.
She's arrived.
Oh, I know.
Oh my goodness.
I know.
Wow.
She's a member of the Wisconsin State Assembly, representing the 46th Assembly District since January of this year. And she's also currently a member of the Dane County Board of Supervisors and the Cottage Grove Village Board of Trustees.
Nope, I resigned in December. So.
You did?
Yes.
Old info.
That's
What-
right.
Update
Which one?
Wikipedia.
Which one?
Cottage Grove Village Board.
All
There
right,
you
it's
go.
gone.
Cross it off.
I know. That's their loss.
Well, I really enjoyed being on the village board too. Local government is really important and make a lot of decisions that affect everyday lives, including housing.
But was it a conflict?
No, I
No.
could have been on all three, the village
Oh.
board, the county board, and the assembly.
Okay, but no. Like
Right.
physically, no.
Right,
Mentally,
it's
no.
crazy,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you only have so much time. Trust me,
Exactly.
I understand. Now she's currently on committees on the local government committee.
Yes.
This came off your page, so tell me.
Okay.
Rural development,
Yep.
veterans and military affairs,
Yes.
and also joint committee on information policy and technology.
Yes.
Did I miss any?
I have also been appointed to the governor's task force on broadband access.
You need to update your website, your page.
For
One
some
little
reason,
line.
the appointments don't get put on there.
They don't?
Yeah, I
Oh,
don't know
okay.
why.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you're happening. I'm so excited that you're here.
Thanks. Me too. This is
Well,
great.
So, I love to tell the story. I mean, we got to see a lot of each other at farmers markets. She's a chamber member. Comes to all of our meetings every Friday or almost every Friday
I
for
tried
coffee
to.
chat.
Yeah, it's great.
For a once a month thing or a rise or whatever they call that.
Yep.
And she is interacting with people of Sun Prairie all the time. And she does it in a way that is just so comfortable. And thank you for that.
Thanks, Bill. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm a conservative. I don't hide that at all. I voted for this lady
Thank you.
because she was the right choice.
That's how it should be.
Yes.
Really.
You know what?
I mean,
Because she's got our back.
yeah.
She's watching over us. I'm going to tell you this one. You took the politics out of politics when you're campaigning.
I don't think that's an uh-oh. I think that's a
Well, yeah, but once in a while she flares up a little bit. I have to say, stop! Don't go there.
Oh, well, yes, we don't delve into the certain policies, but on housing, we have good discussion.
Yeah, I think so too. I think we're joint on that, actually. I think you are. Well, you never know,
We'll
depending
see.
on what's going on.
Okay, let's find out.
So here's the thing. Everybody that's listening knows that affordable housing is on my radar. I wanted to be on the housing committee because of this. I keep talking about it. We keep talking about it, and we have to bring light to this. And Sun Prairie is an area that's really finding out that the people are finding out they can't live here because they can't afford a house. We don't have housing that's affordable for affordable housing.
Right.
See the confusion there?
Right.
And so we have to keep talking about this. The thing that concerns me is that it's become a political word. There's two words. And oh my gosh, I got to tell you about this too. This will be fun. Well, you were there.
What?
We were at the closing of Liz Lauer the other day.
Mm-hmm.
She was confused on workforce and affordable housing. Happens all the time.
It's very confusing, those
And
two terms.
she's on what? She's on
the governor's something on housing. She was being reconfirmed by the Senate.
That's a weird title for a committee.
so nondescript. What does she do? I don't know. But yeah, kind of curious, right? Because
Right.
of her appointment or
Sure.
whatever
Right.
you call that,
Mhm.
and she didn't know. But because it means different things to different people, I think.
It does. It really does. We need to look at this, and because both of them are very important, but there are two different criterias on and definitions of what they are. Right now, we're going to focus on affordable housing and what that means. When I said it's become a political term, it's one where I'm going to be working on affordable housing. Yes, we're looking for to fix affordable housing. Oh, we're going to create affordable housing, and it never happens. Or a bunch of money's thrown at it, great intentions are thrown at it, but we keep doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different outcome. And somebody said that was crazy.
That's the definition of crazy,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And so I don't.
Excuse me. I'm sorry.
Do you need water?
I do.
Coffee? Want me to get you some?
No, but I will. Excuse me.
Oh, I can walk out there and get you
I'm
some.
okay.
You want a
Just-
drink of mine?
No, definitely not.
Are you getting a bottle?
You want one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we'll wait for you.
Bill's making us talk a lot, so.
We're waiting.
Oh no. Oh no. She's looking in the fridge.
Mary Polinsky's on. Dana, what? She's on. Wow, I got to share this to your page while she's doing that. I guess we're taking a break here, folks. So
Yeah. Hope you all are enjoying the sunny day.
Do you prefer
Oh.
ice cold or room temperature?
Room is fine.
Okay. To be
Ready?
continued, huh?
You're ready.
Excuse me.
I appreciated that break. Thank you for getting the water for me.
Okay.
So what's been happening out there is it just seems like we keep throwing money at something, but nothing happens. And so I even stressed it in the housing committee last week and said, no, we don't need money right now. We need an idea.
Mhm.
We need a plan that's completely off the charts. Because if it were that easy, it would have been done already.
That's right.
Kurt Paulson would have taken care of it,
Oh,
who's
man.
chief economist for UW, right?
He's amazing.
He's awesome.
Yeah, so amazing.
If that man can't figure it out, and it's going to take fresh ideas, and I'm telling you, Sun Prairie has the people to do this.
Especially those on the housing committee, right?
Yes. Like Jimmy Kaufman and myself,
It's
Steve
a great
Hannaran.
committee.
Who else is on there?
Yeah, he's with Habitat.
Yes, he is.
And he's in the Rotary Club.
Yes, he is.
Mhm.
You had to bring that up.
Well, yeah.
Oh, he's on Madison Rotary, though.
No, Steve is in Sun Prairie.
Oh, he is?
Yeah,
Oh,
because I am.
oh you are?
So I see him, yeah.
Of course she is.
You're not a lion?
No, I'm not lying.
You need to be a lion. Tell me.
Isn't that a kid's joke?
Yeah. Be a lion.
Ha ha.
So this is involving not only purchase, but it's also rentals. And so it drives people crazy. And it's driving me crazy. Let's fix it. Let's create a new idea. Now, folks, let me remind you. Affordable housing means that you're using more than 30% of your total gross income, including utilities.
Less than 30.
Less than 30%. And so that's a huge stress. That's a huge stress. And when we look at some of the housing out there, if you look at apartments and you're looking at a one bedroom, it's $1,000.
Yep.
So it's a challenge. And looking at a new home, sometimes the housing is actually less than the rentals. But people are not comfortable with buying a home. Probably because, you're reading over here, Laura.
Something interesting about the bank collapse, and a friend telling me that a bank put a stop to a loan approval because of SVB Bank. Don't know why any bank would do that right now.
No,
anyway,
no,
wow.
That's just
I'll follow up with her separately.
Negativity, you know.
Come on, calm down.
Out with the negativity.
Yes, please, be gone.
Didn't you guys just do that on Monday? Oh wait, you just did the reading. Now
You
you need
need
to
a
have
sage.
like a, yeah.
What do you call that? Will you smoke and
Yes.
stuff? I had a show on it. Sage, that's right.
Yeah, you need to sage.
Yeah.
Did you hear?
Actual sage, white
Yeah,
sage.
air it out.
Yes.
Did you hear me describe the greatest kindergarten teacher in the world?
No, I missed that part.
Mrs. Kilby.
Oh, you couldn't have had the best kindergarten teacher in the world, because I did.
Because she
Well, I
didn't
didn't.
go.
Alex did.
I didn't. I'm out. You guys can win. Why is she the best? Did
Alex
she
is-
sage the classroom?
Well, kinda.
How?
She took a big beach ball and she wrote the word can't all over it.
Can't?
Can't. C-A-N-T.
Apostrophe.
Yes.
That's what that thing's called. It's an apostrophe. Okay, go ahead.
And then she had the kids line up, and she had each of them kick Can't out of the room.
Wow.
So Can't never was going to come into that room.
Oh, that's an awesome teacher.
Yeah, because she got rid
Oh,
of
I
the,
like that.
I can't do it. I can't do it.
And of course they whined like that. Of course they did.
Mrs. Gilby, I can't do that. Dropping, give me 20. No. And then
That's one way.
And she'd have a class like 25 kids. And every night we got a handwritten note. I'm talking maybe a page or two. And I kept thinking, is Alex that big of a problem, or is she doing this for every kid, every child?
Did she do it for every kid?
Every child.
Oh my god.
Every child. I don't know how she did it.
Every night?
Every
day?
every day we got a note.
She had strong handwriting skills then, because that takes a lot.
Yeah, oh my
it's not
goodness.
even typed.
No, it was all
Jeez.
handwritten on her special paper.
Nice.
It was awesome. Okay, back to housing.
Wow, yeah, how'd we go there?
Well, we can't.
I
We
don't
got to
know.
kick Can't out of Sun Prairie. Don't tell
Ah,
me you can't.
right.
We got
The
to
negativity.
sit together and we've got to come up with a solution. And it's not one. It's probably 5 different solutions to make one.
Yes.
And how do we do that?
And that's why it's such a big issue, is because there are so many different factors affecting affordable housing.
Right. Right. And I keep saying to people, and they roll their eyeballs at me, which you might do the same. Well, you do often when I talk, but
I just did, by the way.
I missed it, darn it.
Well, I say to people, all right, land is a fixed cost. It's there. God ain't making it anymore. He told me, in fact. Except in Hawaii, where the volcanoes are, they are making more.
You have a direct line to God.
I do. I do.
See, this is how enormous his ego is, right? Now you're getting a picture of it.
Come on,
kinda
I'm a man
get-
of faith. I talk to God all the time.
We all do.
But
But
that he talked back to you, that's the thing.
doesn't God
Yeah.
talk back to you? Yes, he does. You just don't hear it.
That's true.
You
I
gotta
believe
open
that.
up your heart and listen.
I believe that. Wow.
Wow,
Dang.
We're getting all like
We're covering all of it today, aren't
the
we?
philosophies.
Philosophy.
Billisms.
Philosophy.
Bullism.
Bullism.
Bill-
Bulimia?
I like
I'm not bulimic.
philosophy.
Does it look
I
like I'm
that.
bulimic?
Okay, that's a whole nother
Yeah,
rabbit
that's-
hole. We won't go down
Now you
that
took
one.
me right out of the room. I have no idea. So, let's be serious for a minute. Come on. We've got her ear. Let's talk about this. We
What is
always
a
have
good
her.
starting point? Because, like, to your point, you said we keep talking about it. We have to keep talking
Yeah.
about it. Yes, we do, but things have to be done.
Right.
I feel like it's time to stop talking about it
Well-
and take a step.
So there's two things that we know. One is the land and its value. It's there, okay? It has a price on it. Can we negotiate it? Maybe, but let's accept it for what it is. Then the other side of it is the construction. There's a construction cost.
Development.
The development cost. But let's go, stick with me on construction for a second, because I've got people coming in on an hourly rate to build a house. Now, if you reduce how much the general contractor is going to make on that, he has to reduce his costs somehow.
Or
somewhere. Yes, or she.
Okay.
When I say he, I'm talking about he, she's, okay?
No.
Yes, I am.
No.
They.
He or she.
They.
Oh, don't
They.
tell me that.
Okay, anyway.
Back to fuss.
Let's keep moving.
I'm back to both. The way they're going to cut it is labor cost, and then extend with overhead. It's one of the ways to do it. They're not going to cut supplies. They
Can't.
won't take shortcuts because inspectors will catch the shortcuts on this.
Well, they do where they can. I mean, that's a fact.
Well,
They
I know,
do.
absolutely. That's why in a $600,000 house you have Menards wire closet stuff. Were you at the Lennar home in the
No,
reserve for coffee?
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. Andy Ayers and I were just rolling our eyes. $600,000 home. And they've got wire racking in the closets that you would buy at Menards
Oh,
for
I
10
see what you're
bucks.
saying. Okay.
They had an
That white
insert-
wire.
Yeah, yeah. And they had a huge bathroom. A huge bathroom. Huge shower with an insert.
Ooh.
A fiberglass insert.
Aw,
Maybe put that in a guest bathroom.
right.
It's really
Although-
nice fiberglass, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are called shortcuts, by the way.
Well, you know, I used to work at Menards.
Maynard's. That's what it's called.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, wow.
That's actually how I ended up moving down to the Madison area.
Get out.
From
Yeah.
where?
Wausau.
Okay.
That's where I grew up. But yeah, I was working in the floor coverings department, and I helped set
Oh.
up the Madison East Menards back when it was over there. So I helped set up that store, and then they needed an assistant floor coverings manager, so that I stayed down here, and here I am.
And here you are.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, now look where
So-
you are. That's cool.
And then they didn't want to stay there and moved to Sun Prairie.
Mm-hmm. And it's still sitting there, isn't it? I don't know what that Menards is anymore.
It's now a union hall, or
Oh.
for local. I can't remember, but yeah,
It's a huge
union.
space.
yeah. They really changed the inside of it. That's for sure.
Oh,
wow.
I've been in
Wow.
there for a tour.
That's
Anyway,
big. That's huge.
I derailed you again, Bill. I'm
I have
sorry.
no idea what you want to talk. Well, we're talking about the labor side of it. You're
Yes.
going to have the labor. You got to take care of those workers. So we have that cost. Now there's profit. So we need the contractors to make a comfortable profit, a fair profit. I say a fair profit. Now what that is, that's debatable. But working with a builder to do that, we'll figure that out. So from that point, now we've got to create everything else. What's the design look like? Or how can we make a design? What's the funding on this? Is it going to be just house? Is it going to be house and land? Or is land maybe owned by the city government, the state, something
land
like
trust?
that? Like a land trust, using a land trust,
Mhm.
where the city may hold the land, they still make a payment on it of some type, and then after maybe, I don't know, 3 to 5 years or whatever, it's rolled into the purchase, it becomes part of the property, so when they sell it, then they have the gain on that. The city's making out because they're getting a payment on it, all during that time. The city puts it on into their books as an asset. So it's not a negative. I mean, it's cash flow, and they probably get a grant or something for this to get support from the state to do that. So you have maybe $1 million worth of land on your books. It could be some of the condemned land that cities have or municipalities have, and convert that over to housing.
What do you mean by condemned land?
Land that's just sitting there that's been condemned, and the municipalities have, that's a good word for me. Municipalities. It's sitting there, there's nothing been developed on it. It's just
Why
sitting there.
condemned though?
Yeah.
Well, they took a house that was terrible, like what was the pumpkin house?
Oh,
Well, I don't think that was condemned.
no, it wasn't.
Schneider's house.
Yeah, it was a historical home that nobody wanted, so.
It was history and we needed to wipe away.
Stop. Have you had anybody from the Madison Area Land Trust come in and talk about how they handle
No,
all that?
no. What we keep talking about is things like, well, let's work on a down payment assistance program. Oh, okay. To buy what?
Right.
Yeah.
Houses are over 400,000 in Sun Prairie.
That's a big down payment.
Yeah, and they're not gonna. They can't afford that.
Right.
If you're in that affordable category, you can't afford that.
So, one thing though,
Okay.
you gave the definition for affordable,
Uh-huh.
but then at the beginning we were talking a little bit about workforce
Uh-huh.
housing too,
Uh-huh.
and so,
You want that one?
yes, do that one.
Do you know what that is?
Well, it's for the workforce housing is for people that have jobs like that work.
Let me help you out here.
I don't have it right in front of me, but I know the difference between the two.
So workforce housing is defined as housing affordable to households I'm reading this,
Yes.
under between 60 and 120% of the area median income.
Yes.
Sun Prairie's median income is $77,139. Yeah. That's a lot. Yeah, that's a lot. Just saying. It is.
It is.
So that workforce, here's the difference. The workforce housing is, they're the people, they're your cops, your teachers, your wait staff, the people in that $50,000 price range, or
Yeah.
income range, if you
Yeah.
think about it.
Right.
I'm using my math. I'm telling you.
This show has a lot of math on it.
Oh my gosh.
I know, it's kind of a
That's a
turn
real
off for me
spreadsheet.
really, but I show up anyway.
Leave the math to
What?
Bill.
I do enough math in my job, I don't,
Yeah.
anyway.
But there's two types of housing. There's the affordable housing, okay? Less than 30% of their total monthly income. And right?
Gross income.
Gross income. Then you come over to the other one, it's going to their average area median income. Well, they're confusing. And
No wonder people don't know
Exactly.
what
That's
it
why you got to
means.
get rid of affordable. It's the wrong term.
And so people assign their own meaning to it, which
Uh-huh.
is, oh, I know what you're saying, it's for those low income
Yes,
people.
it's become a buzzword.
Yeah, and we don't want them.
Right,
in
and that's
our-
not fair at all.
It's not
Not
even
at all.
accurate.
Yeah,
They just don't
exactly.
know.
And I think that goes to with people that live in apartments get a bad rap for some
do.
reason.
They do.
And I lived in an apartment. My mom lives in an apartment. People in even duplexes sometimes get a bad rap when it's all just housing. Ultimately, a place for people to call home. So.
Mhm.
By using affordable, I think it's a buzzword that people have attributed a negative connotation to, when ultimately it's just about making things affordable so that somebody can afford to live where they are, rather than having all their income go to the housing.
Yeah.
So if there was a better term to use,
I don't know what that would be. That's what I was just thinking.
maybe we need to brainstorm.
Talk to the governor.
Tchotchke.
We need a tchotchke.
Well, it's true.
a housing tchotchke.
I mean, even the mayor of Madison is always talking about affordable housing, converting this old hotel on East Wash, the
Yeah.
old Holiday Inn, to affordable housing. I broke out the numbers. I'm like, it's not affordable. There's going to be like $1,100 a month. It needed to be like $800 a month.
At
be
least,
exactly.
or at most.
And
Where can you rent anything for $800 a month anymore?
You can't.
Right,
You can't.
right.
So then you got to think about, all right, so how do we do this? How do we figure this out? And I don't know why we're not doing this as a society, as a community. Now, I don't want to have, what do you call it, projects. We don't need projects.
You
That's an old term.
you mean like in Chicago, the project,
Yeah.
like
is that
that
what you
type
mean?
of thing, as
Ah.
opposed to like a home project.
Well, correct.
Very
The first
different.
one- Well,
Yeah.
because the first one is a
Meaning.
project. It's a low-income housing
Right.
development.
And that's where people
So
go
green.
with this
Yeah.
stuff, with these terms.
Right.
And
They think
Section
it's-
8.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and that's definitely not what any municipality or official that I know of, that they don't want that type of housing, and they're working to make sure that the units that are being built now that are labeled affordable aren't like that. I know in Dane County, when the county board approves funding to go towards affordable housing projects, they make sure that it's not it's far enough away from other affordable projects to make sure that they don't wind up being like Section 8 housing as has been thought of from the Chicago area.
Mhm.
So the officials that are working on housing, they want to make sure that we're doing things right, that that people just have a safe place to call home.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Yeah.
it's really interesting, Bill, because I knew that you were going to bring up about the different ways that we can work to decrease the cost of housing for people rather than just trying to get it to be built cheaper.
Sure.
And so I was looking at the state and federal housing things that have been put forward, and the I'm trying to think of the right word, not projects, the initiatives were like from 1972 when housing, and then 1990 I think is the most recent one.
Wow.
And 30 years ago, I mean, that's a long time ago, when our housing is a lot different now. Our needs are a lot different now. And I think the federal government should really work on something with housing. And I think with the state, there are going to be some bills coming forward that hopefully will help as well. But I think our more I'm at a loss for words. What is going on here? Our more successful housing project or housing programs, I think, have come from the federal level. But that doesn't mean that there aren't things that we can do at the state and county level, and definitely at the local level, that can help, which is why I'm glad that Prairie has the housing committee, which just started in November, right? After they did their big study and recommendations, which I have right here.
Oh, wow.
Is that the
that's a
same
lot.
Prairie housing thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you should go back and listen to our show.
Oh, goodness.
Yes, I will.
Not
Because
a
it's
fan
full of
that.
errors.
Well, and I've
The
heard
data's incorrect.
I've heard you talk about that too, and I did not study this 156-page
Yeah,
thing.
I wouldn't.
But I found it interesting in that they reference some of the Dane County housing needs assessment, which I've been working on at the county, and there's a regional housing strategy
Yep,
that
just came out.
Yeah, well,
The new one just came out.
the housing needs assessment. you
Yes.
mean. So the regional housing strategy is once a month that we meet, and it's different communities throughout Dane County. They have officials from each community that we've been just learning a lot to be educated, to be all on the same page when we're talking about certain issues with housing, so that we don't get confused on affordable versus workforce.
Yeah.
Or multi-housing
Right.
versus single family, just all need to
Sure.
be on the same page. And now we're working towards what we can do as a county, but together but separate, basically, because each community is different in our needs, but working together and collaboratively so that we can all advance housing in our communities, because it is a need throughout Dane County, as we're the fastest growing
yeah.
county.
Here, I'm going to make this statement. This is kind of bold, but that's okay. I think that a housing initiative could bring the two political parties together, closer to the middle. I think it's the one thing nationwide that could get us almost side by side back like it was in the 60s or 70s or something like that. And I was around then, by the way, ladies. I don't
We
think
know.
You were not. But I'm serious about this. I mean, it's time to work on. It's a subject. It's a project that has both. It benefits both parties, and it has a huge reward at the end of it.
Yeah.
And it starts in Sun Prairie.
Oh.
And I said to Paul Lester, I said, this is your legacy. If you come up with this idea, and then it's presented to our government, our legislature, and the governor signs off on it, you are a hero in this town. Think about it. If a state representative, a new one, did that, her history is locked forever. The representative saved housing in Sun
Ooh, that's
Prairie.
a lot of pressure, man.
Wow.
Good luck with that one.
I like your vision, Bill.
Well, you got to think big, go big or go home. I mean,
Housing is definitely important, and it could be bridge builder, definitely.
Yeah.
That and broadband expansion.
got to have broadband.
Broadband.
Got to have broadband.
That affects housing prices too.
It can.
Yeah.
It can. Some people just buy a house and build it out in the middle of nowhere without broadband.
Right.
And
And
then they
then-
read books and stuff.
No, they still do the shh. No.
Dial up.
Is that what that noise was? Dial up?
Yeah, it was
Remember
reading
that?
more like that.
Wasn't that
They're
fun?
like it.
How would people on the radio know that was that noise?
Well, that's dialing the phone. That's back. That was way back in the day.
Yeah,
That
that's
was
way
more
back. Rotary dial.
That was
Lots
good.
of sound effects here
Instead of
today.
when you try to call into a radio show to get the prize, be the fourth caller or whatever.
Oh,
and
yeah,
had
it took a lot longer,
a
didn't
rotary,
it?
like,
Because you had to wait for the dial to go around.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, we used to be able to, because I've tried it. So if you have your push button, or you can't do it because it'll hang up on you. But when you had a dial, we had the princess phone and all that. We did.
You mean like the one that sits on it's got the...
No, it's like it looks like a
Yeah.
a
I know what
wing
you're
or something
talking
like that,
about.
and then you dial it on the inside of it. So what you do if you're listening to the radio about call, you dial all the numbers except for the last one, and you hold it.
Oh, yep.
And then when they say, "Well, take caller number 12," then you let it go.
I knew that. Did it actually work, though?
I never won.
It didn't work. It didn't work. So can I ask a question? When it comes to like TIF
Yes.
money,
Yes.
what is there to work with? When does that get established? It comes from the government, right?
Comes from
No.
So kind of talk about that. Is that an answer? Is there money available to try to? We got to find solutions.
Right.
And part of it comes from funding.
Yes.
Part of it comes from just a different way to build, and maybe land trust is a great way to
That's
do
very
that.
interesting. I like the land trust in Cottage Grove. For our Commerce Park, the village bought the land, and so it gave us the opportunity to then have that as a bargaining tool to get businesses in, because we own the land, so we could make it cheaper. So that is very interesting to think about for housing, to make it more affordable in that respect. But as far as TIFs, which is a very complicated issue, but the municipality, Sun Prairie, would have to designate an area as being a TID, a tax incremental district, and so it basically puts any property taxes to remain in that TID then. And so those, for any development in there, and if I'm not saying it quite right, Bill, please help me out here.
I don't interrupt state legislators.
Since when?
Right.
Since you started talking.
Okay.
So any development in the TID then those taxes remain in the TID to be used over the lifespan of the TID, the tax incremental district, which is about 20 years. But municipalities can assign part of that tax increment to go towards affordable housing, then to be used for housing to make it affordable. And in the governor's budget, there's actually a proposal to right now you can just extend the TID for 1 year to be used towards housing. But in the governor's proposal, it would be for 3 years to use towards housing, which could be a substantial amount. If you have a TID that is going to be closing soon, that you can redo basically the development agreement or contract from when it was first made to make that go towards the TID.
So first step would be to have a TID, have a,
Maybe.
what is the first step?
When it was first being decided that there would be a TID, then in that use of the funds, it would have to state that it could go towards housing.
Where do the dollars come from?
The development in the TID.
The
So,
TIF money comes from,
yes. So it's basically a self-sustaining
yeah.
district.
Okay.
Tax incremental district,
Financing.
tax incremental financing.
Yes. For the for the acronyms there.
So
Yeah.
a business will look for that. It's an advantage. It's an enticement from. They're still paying taxes.
Right.
They're still paying. People think they're not paying taxes. It's free money. It's not.
No.
You're still paying taxes.
And that's a way for businesses to come to an area. That's what municipalities have used to get businesses to come, because the businesses then get that tax incentive or a way to reduce their costs, because the taxes that they're paying in can then be used to offset infrastructure costs or their development.
And so, for example, in Sun Prairie, do we have one of those districts or more than one of those districts, and where are they?
Yes, and I don't know.
We have 9
9?
off the top of my. Bill Connors, if you're listening, let me know.
Bill Connors.
And with them, you can't have more than 12% of the municipality's worth, basically, as part of TID districts, TIF districts.
Interesting. It is complicated.
Very much.
So it's not an easy answer, but I don't know. I just feel like need to start with breaking it down, and where can we actually start, like, doing things, implementing
Well,
things.
so why not have the city buy, throw a number out there, 100 acres or something, and then that they're going to own that land, and then they bring in several, either they're going to develop the roadways and all that themselves, which they will, and hold that cost, and then bring in builders or developers and say, here's our plan. Is it going to be a slab? Is it going to be 1,500 square feet? Is it 2 or 3 bedrooms? Is it solar? We got to be careful with the solar, because that really adds a lot of cost.
We know how much you love solar.
I do love solar. That's not. Whoa.
I thought you were going to have a solar person come in.
Well, yeah, they're coming in. It's
Okay.
like April 19th now. I'm like,
Oh, wow.
No,
It keeps getting pushed.
my
Yes.
beard will be down to my belly button by then.
You'll
You
look
wish.
like Rip Van Winkle.
Sometimes I feel like Rip Van Winkle.
Or Duck Dynasty.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Not Scrooge McDuck, though.
No.
I don't know.
What's the uncle in Duck Dynasty?
I've never watched it. I have no idea.
Hey, he's always got iced tea in his hand.
If you say so.
I can't remember his
Are you
name.
sure it's iced tea?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a Long
He
Island.
doesn't
Yeah,
drink.
right.
He doesn't
That's
drink
what it is.
alcohol.
I don't know. I haven't watched that.
So what is the housing committee talking about?
So we're trying to figure out ways to do affordable housing, and
So what's come up?
And Becky Benz is our point person on this. She's as Mayor likes to say, she's our expert on housing. I'm like, she knows her part of housing and expertise, but there's also Tara Peterson and myself on there that know housing inside and out. You got Jimmy Kaufman, who knows the banking and lending side of it.
Right, you need different perspectives,
Yeah.
obviously.
You got Steve
Do you
Henry.
have builders in there?
We got Steve that's in there.
Habitat. Do you have other builders?
No.
Like,
No.
probably shouldn't
No.
you?
Well, I want Randy Martin in there.
Yeah.
I want Randy Martin. Randy Martin is one of I think, the best builder in Sun Prairie, because of the quality, and his eye for detail is just amazing, and he knows his cost. I mean, but what these guys would say is that government at times gets in the way, and it does. I mean, with impact fees and all that side of it, and we don't need to get into all that stuff, but there are a lot of costs involved with building a house, and it could be anywhere from $50 to $90 to $150,000 per property, depending on what it is.
Not according to the Sun Prairie housing something or other here.
Yeah, they're on drugs. Scott Kugler? I love Scott.
I don't know. The housing affordability report, or the other one?
Oh, and that study?
Are you talking the big one
here,
that was done?
The housing fee report.
Housing fee
That
report?
only shows $5,500 about.
No, there's no way. So
fees
you can have
collected per dwelling
Per
unit.
development costs?
No.
Is that what that number's supposed to be?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
come
not-
on.
that's not accurate. I
No
told
way.
you. I when this came out, I went through. It's not worth the paper it's written on.
How? That's not even possible.
It's
I don't
not
know.
possible. All right, so you've got your lot. Okay. Now you got to put your sewer in.
Right.
You got to put all your utilities in. That's just that part of it.
Ask Lindsay Higgins, right?
Yeah.
She can, but
Which
her-
is part of why with TIDs, tax incremental districts, the development wants to go into those districts because the increment can help offset the infrastructure costs, which is another thing too in the governor's budget proposal with TIDs, that more can go towards housing in the TID. Normally it's just for businesses, but he's proposing more for housing as
Cool.
well.
I like
Okay,
that.
that's one step.
Yeah. I'm on this. Do you guys binge anything on TV? You got any programs you're watching? What are you
Netflix.
binging now?
You.
Oh my gosh, that show scares me.
He's
Oh
creepy.
my gosh. Have you ever seen that?
No.
She got me to watch it. I don't watch it. It's a stalker dude, and he's oh my
A
god.
serial killer.
Yes.
Really, and then the funny part about it is like
Funny?
you attract what you're being, right? So this guy somehow across the world finds other serial killers. And you'd never guess. Anyway, it's like a psychological thing.
So you don't binge anything? Yeah.
I don't have time.
I can't imagine, right?
Wait.
She's-
I have time. I have to have my head time. I call
Well,
it.
You're not
have
at
to
everything
sleep.
I'm at, Bill.
You're not at everything I'm at.
I know I'm not.
Oh my,
So I'm
what is
watching.
happening?
I'm binging West Wing.
Oh.
Oh yes.
I mean, going back to that, what is it, 80s, 90s, and all that?
90s?
Not
Oh my
80s,
gosh.
the 90s.
Maybe the 90s.
I started to watch Veep, but then it was starting
Oh,
to
yeah.
hit a little close to home, so I was like, I'm not
Well,
sure
know
about
what
that.
that is.
Well, it's just really interesting to watch West Wing, and a lot of the things are very similar to what they are today. Real quick, because we don't have that much time left. Got about 5 minutes ago. One of the shows, Josh Lyman, who is the deputy chief of staff,
Love that guy.
he's talking to his assistant, Donna Moss, and there's a concern about Russia firing their missiles and all that stuff. And Josh says, they're in a trade-off back and forth, and finally Josh says, stop it, Donna. Don't worry about the missiles. You have to worry about the disease that they bring over that covers the entire world. And I went, shut the front door. I almost bolted out of my chair. And how old is this? 20 years? 30 years ago? Something like that. 20 years ago, maybe.
Well, they say history repeats itself.
Oh my gosh.
If we don't learn from it, it will
That's
continue
right.
to repeat.
That's right.
And they're always talking about throwing money. We'll throw them 150. We'll give them, 300 million, 100 million over here. Somebody came in and they wanted, what was it? He wanted $150,000 for a study. And they kept going, you mean 150 million? I go, no, 150,000. Every time they'd mention, you mean 150 million? No, I mean 15. It was hilarious.
That reminds me of the movie Payback with Mel Gibson.
I haven't seen it.
Oh,
All right,
yeah.
another one.
Yeah, he just wants us like $50,000 back, and like the mafia guy or whatever is like, you want $1 million? He's like, no, just 50,000. You'll have to go watch
Okay,
it.
I'll have to. I don't know if I saw that.
I think
I
it
know
was
it's been-
Payback.
That sounds right. Yeah, I just don't remember if I saw it.
I know. Wow. All right, we got a few minutes left here.
All right, so I feel like what we've uncovered today is that it's complicated. It's super
But
complicated.
it's doable if we want it to be doable. But we have to sit down and get outside of the box. Get
Yeah.
outside. So look,
Outside of the house.
Ooh. Well, we got to build that thing first. But look, so can I give you an example? And I'm not being critical of the mayor or the governor. Is that he's setting aside money for something, and there's no plan. There's nothing in place to create what's being called affordable housing right now. They're just throwing money. Again, throwing money.
At nothing yet, just
Right.
reserving it.
Yeah, I would rather they give us like, give me $20,000. Let's rent a book of rooms at the Wilderness and lock us in there, and let's go figure this thing out.
You mean $2 million?
Yes, okay, $2 million.
No, just 20,000.
Yeah. Let's don't go to the Wilderness. Let's go up to, I don't know.
You should stay in Sun Prairie.
The American Club. Well, we don't have a. Oh, we do have the Hilton. We need more hotels here.
There's one in Cottage Grove.
Yeah, I know, right? It's a nice one. I want a curling rink in Sun Prairie.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Arlington's got one. Portage has got one.
Well, you know what? Sun Prairie has a library and Cottage Grove doesn't, so they should have one too.
I think they should.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, I do.
We have a nice library.
Yes.
Very nice.
We do.
Yeah.
Very nice.
I know, we do.
Right next
Hey,
door.
we've got just a couple minutes here. Anything that you would like to talk about in the district outside of housing that you want to bring to the table?
Well, coming up in April, I'll be doing a listening session with Senator Agard for the budget, so that we can provide more information about what's in the governor's proposal for the budget. So I will get you that information so you can get that out, and we'd love to have people come and tell us about housing issues.
I will be there. Just gotta remember that I gotta write that date down. If I don't,
You don't have it specified.
If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist.
it doesn't exist.
Yes.
I understand that.
I live by my
I know you understand that. You'd have to.
Senator Agard's another one. She's an advocate, huge housing advocate.
She's awesome
and
too, yes.
Very big supporter. And
Yeah.
appreciate that.
Yep.
You know, folks, here's the thing I want you to know about the conversation today is I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, Independent, furry, whatever it is.
Fuzzy.
Fuzzy, not furry, fuzzy.
Bill is fuzzy.
It's all about relationships. It's about what you develop and the interaction that you have with your political folks, whether it's city council, which you've heard me talk about many times. Our state representative, Melissa's the first change we've had in like 1,000 years. No.
Just 18
18,
at the
yeah.
representative level.
Gary Hebel.
Felt like 1,000 years.
Gary Hebel. 2 Hebels were our state representatives, which I think's funny too. But she's approachable, and you need to know that. And I had my cover page and I lost it. So here it is. If you want to get a hold of her, you can call her if you want, the old-fashioned way.
That's right.
She has phone calls.
That's
608-237-9146 is her office number. You can also go to your website. It's not clicking right now.
I know, it should be up today.
Okay.
Ben's working on it.
But she is
Work
a
in progress.
Facebook person, which is really cool. You can go to Facebook and go to WI Rep Ratcliff.
That's right.
RATCLIFF. There's no D in there.
And no E at the
I was
end.
going
No
to say,
D at
I'll
the
bet you
end.
people do that. Yeah.
And she tweets. I love this about
She's
her.
a tweeter.
At REP Ratcliff.
That's right.
There you
Better
go.
than
You got
RIP.
it. And if you want to find her, just go in and search Melissa Ratcliff. So you've got the individual sitting in our studio that can make a lot of things a lot better for our city and maybe for you. Also, she would love to see you down at the Capitol.
Yes, at 11 North.
But make an appointment.
Realtor and
Definitely.
Government Day coming up.
Absolutely, I'll be there. So we can
Great.
get you into that too.
Okay.
That'll be cool.
And next month is Fair Housing Month.
It
April
is.
Fair Housing Month.
Fair housing or affordable housing?
Fair Housing.
May is Affordable Housing Month.
There you go.
So
And
thanks.
June is Home Ownership Month.
There we go.
And August is all about Bill.
Is it? Didn't know that.
Your birthday is the same as my daughter's.
I know.
Yes.
Aw,
Addie.
Yes. Exactly.
I like
She's
that.
a cutie, by the way.
I know, I love her.
Oh, I can tell you guys have great adventures together. If you don't believe me, go on Facebook and you can see all of
Yes.
it.
Good for you.
Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome anytime. Just ask us.
Okay.
We don't ask you, so come back and
Great.
We need to
share
have her
your
back
thoughts.
and like talk about real things that are being done. No, I mean like real things.
Yeah, we'll get her back. I promise.
A little less talk, a lot more action.
Hey, and thank you to you for doing this for so long. 7 years is a long time
Woo!
on the
Yeah.
radio. I know, right?
Mm-hmm.
God bless you.
Woo! He does every day.
Sitting across from him for an hour once a week, I know.
Bye.
Ooh, I need it.
Bye, Sun Prairie.
Bye, Sun Prairie. How old's your daughter?
14.
Oh,
We're still on Facebook Live right now. Just to give you a
we're
hint.
keeping it clean.
That's right.
We're good.